All right, good afternoon, 8th grade. Welcome to week 2 of remote learning. Dun-dun-dun. All right. We will be talking about the new schedule. That way, if you guys have any questions at all, I can answer you. But first, let's do the warm-up. I need you to try to solve for x. So copy down that equation, follow our normal steps. After the warm-up, we'll talk about the new schedule. We will review Unit 7. So I'll explain the post. Hi, Joshua. And then I'll take any questions as per usual. All right? That's what we got going on for today. I need you guys to try to solve that. Just take a few minutes. All right, I'm going to copy that down on the big board. Today's warm-up. Solve for x. All right, who else do we have here today, guys? Remember, you have to say present or say hi. That way I can mark you down. Okay, that takes care. Oh, perfect. Okay, let's get started because it looks like some people are going to be a little late. And if you guys are watching the video, I don't want to bore you to death. First step. Very first step, hopefully you tell me distribute, right? Distribute. What do we distribute? We distribute that -2 right there. So -2 times 3x. -2 times -4 is a +8. Next, we're going to distribute the 4. You do not need that anymore. And then this is on the outside. Hi, Escalon. How are you? We are doing a warm-up. I'm going to talk about the new schedule. I'm going to review Unit 7, and I'll take any questions. Hi, Jorge. Okay, got it. Nice job, nice job. Hopefully we get more people on here. All right, next step. After distributing, you want to look to combine like terms. So over here, there's nothing to combine, but over here, we could at least combine these two. 12 plus 6 is 18. Okay, next it's time to juggle. And it doesn't matter what you start with. I'll start here. So I have 8 equals 10x plus 18. Eight minus 18 should get a -10. Last step. divide by 10, so that x equals, I'll move this out of your way, negative 10 divided by 10 is just a negative 1. So hopefully you guys got that, and you're not just watching. Hi, Jose. How are you? Thank you for joining us, guys. All right. Any questions on the warm-up? Any questions at all on solving an equation? If you don't have any questions, I need you guys to open up your new schedule, please. On the classroom stream, I posted a new schedule that you guys are supposed to be following, and I apologize for the curveball. I really do. It was not finalized and confirmed until over the weekend. So I posted it last night when I knew that it was correct. So let's take a look at that schedule, please. Open it up. You should see that this morning you were starting with Ms. Ranelli in science, and then you would move to social studies, English, and then have library and graphic design. If you follow that schedule, you take a break from 1 to 1:30, and then I get to see you for math. I'm still going to be able to see you guys each day. The problem is, or I shouldn't say it's a problem, the only change is the times that I'm going to see you, because you have very many classes, and you need to see these, you need to have time with those teachers as well. I can't usurp your time, right? So let's see what else. If you'll notice, Wednesday is the day that looks kind of strange compared to the rest, but that's only because it's special heavy, right? So you have PE and health, you have art, world language. Oh, that's should be, it should hopefully it says with Ms. Rivera, and I did confirm that with Mr. Luca and Ms. Rivera just to make sure. Did you grade the edge elastic yet? No, not yet. I'm trying, Joshua. It's not easy to keep up. There's a lot of changes. I'm hoping that I'll have edge elastic created by today for everybody. Do you need any feedback on any of your problems? Oh, you do have to finish. Okay, so I did a video on edge elastic Thursday and Friday. I believe you were with us Thursday, but not Friday, right? So if you have to look back at Friday's video for any problems, go right ahead. I had already thrown out the problems that everybody had to fix. I could look real quick now if you want, because I am taking questions in our agenda all the time. Let's see. So scientific notation, you had the new version, or? Yes, you did. Yes, I do see that you have to finish, but everything that you did is correct so far. And actually, you weren't supposed to have to do all of them over again. Scientific notation for Joshua. Let's take a look here. One, two, three, four, 5, 7, 10, 17. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So let's take a look now. On the new schedule, I have teachers I usually don't have. Hi, Brian. How are you? So, Joshua, Miss Rivera is not the only one. There's other teachers that you also don't normally have, because if that's true, I have to ask Mr. Luca about that. I confirmed the Miss Rivera part because I thought that your class had Miss Raspa, and he confirmed with me this morning that you do have Miss Rivera. So what other teachers do you not normally have? Because I am going to go over the schedule. We did the warm-up already, so I'm going to go over the schedule now. Okay, so you already did 4 and 7 and 10. Joshua, you only have to do 3 more. You only have to do 12, 17, and 21. Those are the only ones that you got wrong on the other one. So please don't do the whole assignment. Just do 12, 17, and 21. Okay, cool. All right, so let's finish going over the schedule, guys. Please open up the schedule if you haven't already. On Tuesday, it looks like you have a very light day. If you're not someone who is an avid, then you don't have to meet up with Miss Cephas. That's only for the students that are in her class. And in Miss Ranelli's homeroom, there are avid students. That's why it's on this schedule. So this schedule is for the homeroom. It's not necessarily like one individual's. You're going to see me in the morning, and then if you're an avid student, you would see Miss Cephas at 12. If you are in music, singing, band, choir, then you have to see and go according to that teacher's schedule. So it doesn't mean that all 8th graders have to see Ms. Nold, Mr. Johnson, or Ms. Singh. It's only students who already have them on their schedule, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. What am I doing? I'm lost. Okay, so Brian, we already did the warm-up. What I need you to do is open up your student schedule on Google Classroom. I posted it last night. I edited it this morning. It's a schedule that you are supposed to be following throughout the week. Do that for now. Today we're doing Unit 7 review the way we normally would when we finish the book. We usually do like an Edulastic review, a review from the book, and then we normally test. That way we can move on to the next book. Now, Brian, if your Edulastic is not done, that also needs to be finished for questions, because I'm taking questions. But if there are problems that I did already, then I need you to take a look at the videos from Thursday and Friday, please. Okay, schedule. Back to the schedule. Hopefully I explained that well enough. If you take a look at Wednesday, you're starting with PE, and I believe for PE, right now you are reaching out to your teacher at that time in case you need any help. You have art with Miss Rodriguez, world language, health, and then if you're in music, once again, you have music. So Wednesday is another light day, depending on who you have. Thursday is just like Monday, except that I can't see you until later in the day, and that's because I had to juggle my time between the 2 6th grades and the 8th grade and the new schedule. So I see you later. Friday, that's a very, very light day for you. It's almost like you're in college or high school. It's funny. You'll see me first thing in the morning. Lucky you. Okay? That's going to be rough, right? I don't know if you guys are actually... That's what the schedule says, though. So we have to stick by that. Okay. So if you guys don't have any other questions, then I'm gonna get started on the review. Any questions on the schedule? Any questions on the warm-up, solving equations? Any questions on Edulastic? It's very quiet. Okay. Then let's get started with the review. The review is something that I also posted on Google Classroom over the weekend. It has a spreadsheet like normal. The spreadsheet tells us what problems in the book to do. And then because I thought it would be very convenient in case you wanted to submit the work. No questions. Okay. I made attachments for the review. That way you knew exactly what problem you're supposed to be looking at. Okay, so let's go over the first one. Just a second. Okay, first one. Okay, the unit review. So open up your unit review and open up the attachment that says Unit 7 Review 8th grade. It should be a spreadsheet. Okay, and the very first problem, it says page 78, number 3. Page 78, number 3. It says you would have to be able to decide what scale to be used on a blank number line and fill in anything missing. That's the goal, okay? So everybody should be looking at this attachment. If you want to open it up and fill it in, focus on number 3. That's where we're at. And what I'll do is I'll copy this onto the board. Kind of stinks that I don't have my own smart board, huh? So this, I'll write it down so that people can see if they need help with it later. Page 78, number 3. What number is represented by point A, and explain or show how you know? Now they don't have an arrow there, but I'm going to put an arrow. 10 to the 12 is over here. And I'm supposed to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more. Woof. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 1 more. So I'm going to extend it since it kind of looks even. Okay. Now let's see what we got here. There is another line below it that looks extremely similar. This seems like it's gonna take a while. So we'll probably be doing this review between today, tomorrow, and possibly Wednesday. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. Okay. And they actually line up, so that makes my life a little bit easier. Okay. So this part got blown up. And then this one goes all the way over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What number is represented by point A, and explain or show how you know? Okay, so first thing is first. You have to be able to make sense out of the diagram, right? And this one and this one, the way that they're connected is by this part right here. This part right here got completely zoomed in so that it's actually this expanded, and we did this in class, so I hope you do remember it. Now, let's start on the top, because on the top, you might remember that from what we did, all right? If this is 10 to the 12th, and I guess I'll put it up here, right? Okay. Then this would be something times 10 to the 11th. I don't want to tell you just yet, because I want to give you a chance to do it. I don't have my book with me. That's okay. I have all the attachments on the classwork assignment. This picture is actually on the same post. It's under your classwork tab. And it's page 78, number 3, and I think it might be labeled a lesson 10 practice problem. It's from lesson 10. So something times 10 to the 11th. And I actually think that I will run out of room going horizontally, so I'm going to write it vertically. If it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that works out perfectly. So 9 times 10 to the 11th, 8 times 10 to the 11th, and so on. That's a 9. Oh my God. I'm confusing myself, sorry. So all times 10 to the 11th power, 3 times 10 to the 11th, 2 times 10 to the 11th, 1 times 10 to the 11th. Okay. Hopefully you guys remember this in class. We had the double number lines. I passed them all out. There were like 3 sets or 4 sets. And then I collected it after practicing different sets of double number lines. Okay, now, if we zoom in here, right here, that means that this tick mark right here has to start this one. It has to be the same because this is the starting point of the blue. Starting point of the blue. So 8 times 10 to the 11th. And where does it end? Where does the blue end? The blue ends right here, which is 9 times 10 to the 11th. Okay, and then this is where you get to see, okay, well, what can you fit in between? Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And then it goes to 9. So I remember in class, and I think Escalin, you actually answered this. I think you said 8.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. Am I missing a tick mark? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in between. I am missing a tick mark. Okay. So those came out good, but somehow I missed a tick mark somewhere. And I don't know how. Oh, because there's another one over here. Okay. There was another tick mark here in the book. So if this one, but that's not going to affect that one. I should still have another one over here. And if I put anything in here, it's not going to add up, which doesn't make sense. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But there has to be what? There's another one somewhere, and I'm not sure where to put it. That's kind of frustrating. Somehow when I drew this, I didn't have it lined up properly. Luckily, it's in this area somewhere, so it does not affect your A. But hopefully you remember this from class.
And then in here, there's 8.9 times 10 to the 11th, and then here. So this is correct. This is correct. Somewhere in here, my tick marks are not lined up. But then this part, hopefully you remember Escalin, or at least somebody who heard her answer in class. She said, okay, count by 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, and so on. So what is actually the answer from all that? They said, what does letter A represent? Well, letter A represents what? It represents 8.4 times 10 to the 11th power. It says, explain or show how you know. So when you fill out the labels, that is part of showing, but you have to be explicit. So I need you to give me some type of answer statement as well. For example, like, I know, and I'll put it right here, 8.4 times 10 to the 11th power represents point A because, and then I need you to fill that in. And it doesn't have to be complicated, right? It can simply say because you can say when zooming in between 8 times 10 to the 11th and 9 times 10 to the 11th, it is the 1, 2, 3, 4th tick mark in. If it's the 4th tick mark in that spot between them, then it has to be 8.4 because it's the 4th one in. Okay? I hope that makes sense. You guys are kind of quiet. If you have a question, you have to let me know. That is the first one on the review. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, the next one says page 104, activity 14.2, biomass. And it specifically says number 3 on the activity. So we're not doing the entire activity. We're only going to be looking at number 3. Okay? So I'm going to erase this. And I need you guys to go to 14.2, and it's supposed to be on page 104. It's one of your attachments. And it looks like this. And remember, we're only doing number 3. So you could, if you had your book with you, cross off number 1 and number 2, circle 3, highlight it, whatever you have to do. If you do not have your book with you, just look on the post, okay? And let me know if you can't find it. Okay, next one. Now, this was an activity that we didn't do when we were going over the lessons. But number 3 is going to help you with one of the test questions, which is more massive. And then you have 2 options. Total number of humans or Well, I shouldn't say number because I don't want you guys to get confused. They used the word mass, and with these tables, I know they have both the number of humans and mass. So they want to know in number 3 which one is more massive, the mass of all the humans because it's total, or the total of all the ants. Total mass of ants. Okay, so first of all, which is more massive? You have to pick one. Once you pick one, then you have to say how many times more massive or larger. Okay, so 2 questions. So I'll call it part A and I'll call it part B. Okay, it's not detailed like that in the problem, but that'll help us stay focused. You did this particular problem, Escalin, this one? Because if you did, hopefully you have some feedback for us when I'm asking questions. That would be good. Because right now you guys are really quiet. And it's really going to be boring if you guys don't participate like it's class. Which is more massive? Okay, now the thing with this is that there's actually kind of a lot of work to do here for that. Or maybe not a lot of work, but it made me more steps. Maybe that's a better way to put it. So if you're looking for the total mass, I want you to take a look at the columns. Do you see how one column is the number of the animal, and then the other column is the mass? If we're looking for total mass, that means that we have to do one column times the other. So for example, humans. For humans, it says that the number of humans would be 7.5 times 10 to the 9. That's how many humans there are in this chart. And they're saying that you have to take this and multiply it by the mass of just one human, which is 6.2 times 10 to the 1. And this is an average, okay? It says mass of one individual. If you do the individual mass times how many humans there are, you will get the total mass. And we have to do the same thing for the ants so that we can compare it. Now, intuitively, I want you to tell me what you think the answer would be. Try to anticipate. Would it be the mass of the ants or the mass of the humans? You might say to yourself, well, obviously the humans, what kind of silly question is this, right? One human is like how many times more the mass of one ant, right? But look at the number of each. Let's take a look at the ants. This is how many humans there are, but how many ants are there? There is 5 times 10 to the 16th power. Do you see the difference in the number there? So yes, the mass is greatly different, but so are the numbers. Okay, each ant is supposed to be 3 times 10 to the negative 6 power. That's extremely tiny. That's a very small number, but that's a very large number. Once we do those operations, we will be able to decide which one is actually more massive, okay? Now, I'm going to erase this question for a moment because we have to do the work here. So I need you guys to help me out. What do you have for the total mass of the humans? What do you get when you multiply 7.5 times 6.2? you should get 46.5 times 10 to the, when the bases are the same, you're supposed to add the exponents. So 9 plus 1 is 10. Okay, and this is for, again, it's for the humans. Total mass. And now let's do the ants. 5 times 3 is 15. Same base, 16 plus a negative 6. That would be times 10 to the 10. So very nicely for us, okay, these are exactly the same. So we could focus and just compare here. Now, intuitively, you probably thought humans, right? And it turns out 46.5 is larger than 15. But don't you think that that's a lot closer than you might have thought? So which one is more massive? The total mass of the humans are more massive. And now it's time for us to ask how many more times larger. So let's put that question back up there. How many times more massive? All right, now this is the sentence that we're going to use as an answer statement. We're going to say humans are, and when we have our answer, we're going to put it right there. And we know that it's going to be in scientific notation, so we're going to put a number here. We're going to put an exponent here. Humans are blah, 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 times more massive than ants. Okay, now let's do the work. What do we have to actually do to find out how many more times larger? Do you guys remember that from last week's warm-ups and practice? Hopefully you tell me that we're supposed to divide the larger by the smaller. Okay, how many times larger? And hopefully you can still see. Okay, so we're going to do the larger divided by the smaller, which means we're going to do 46.5 times 10 to the 10th, and we're going to divide it by 15 times 10 to the 10th, and what do we get? What do you guys get when you divide 46.5 divided by 15? You guys should get 3.1. Now, this is kind of nice too, because 10 to the 10th divided by 10 to the 10th is just 1. So how many times larger? 3.0. So we could erase that part actually. Humans are 3.1 times more massive than ants. Okay, that's 2 problems done on our review. We have a total of 8 to do. Any questions on that problem at all? No? Okay. Then we should have time for one more question on the review, and we will most likely continue this for Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay? All right, let's take a look. The next one on the list says page 49, number 2. Page 49, number 2. All right, page 49, number 2. Page 49, number 2 looks like that. So that's the picture that you're looking for this time. Again, it's in the classroom tab, the classwork tab. All right. Okay, cool. Okay, so this one is page 49. It is number 2, and it is a lesson 6 practice problem. Okay. Now, if you take a look, this is something that I actually created last year. And if you look at it, it's a little bit different. It's worded a little bit different. And I kind of like this a little better because you see how it says be able to. It's telling you the skill that you really need to have in order to do well on the test question. So for this particular one, it says you have to be able to identify equivalent expressions for a single term with a negative exponent. So what does that mean? It means if you take a look at this single term, there's only one term that they give you. They give you 4 to the power of a negative 3. And from the list at the bottom, you're supposed to pick the ones that are equivalent to it. So let's take a look at letter A. And what I'll do is I'll put right here, I'll put equivalent with a question mark. And we're going to answer with the correct letters right there. And then I'll do the work right here. Okay? So let's do the work for negative 12. Let's test it. Letter A says negative 12. Okay. Well, first of all, if we want to simplify that expression, what do we have to do according to our power rules? And if you noticed, at the bottom of this list, it says with an asterisk that you have to know your power rules. So whenever there's a negative exponent, according to the power rules, what would you do? Do you remember? You take the reciprocal of this base, right? Which would be 1/4. And now the exponent is positive. Those right there, those are equivalent. And that one is actually one of your expressions, and it's C. Okay, so we know that C is correct. But we're interested in trying to establish if this is correct. So let's actually continue to evaluate. What's 4 times 4 times 4? Or in other words, what is 4 cubed? 16 times 4 should be 64. Okay, so this simplified is 1/64. It's definitely not a negative 12 because 1/64 and negative 12 will never be equivalent. They are not anywhere near the same number. Okay, so we're not going to put A there. Is there one that says 1/64? No, but there's one that's very close. I'm wondering if you could see it. This one, you can rewrite it as 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4 because that is the same thing as that. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1.
4 times 4 times 4 can be written expanded, or it can be written simplified. So this one is actually letter D. So this one is letter D, and it's okay. This one was letter C, and it's okay. That one is not okay. So let's take a look at B. B is 2 to the power of negative 6. Okay, let's take a look at that. 2 to the power of negative 6. Well, let's do the same thing, and let's see if we actually get the same answer. Let's see if we still get 1 over 64. I don't know, maybe we will. This is the same thing as 1 over 2 to the 6th power. All right, let's keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32, and 32 times 2 is 64. Interesting, right? There you go. And this was letter B, so B is also equivalent. We already took care of C. We already took care of D. E. Now, E, you know, cannot be true. E cannot be true for the same reason that A cannot be true. This simplified is 1 over 64. It's not a whole number, so that's just no. You know that F is also false because this exponent does not mean to multiply negative 4 by itself 3 times. It means 1 over 4 cubed. 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4. That's what this means. Now, G requires a little bit more work, so let's look at G. We have 8 to the power of negative 1, and we have 2 squared. Now, since this one is negative, it's actually 1 over 8 times 2 squared. Well, what is 2 squared? That's 4, right? 8 times 4 is 32. Therefore, G also does not work. So what are the expressions that are equivalent to 4 to the power of negative 3? These are the only 3 that are actually equivalent. And if you have a question on any of my proofs, you let me know. Please tell me. Any questions? 6-2. Okay, so we will continue the review tomorrow. Please make sure that you're filling out the review. You don't have to turn it in yet, but you should at least show all the work, whether it's on a piece of paper, in your book, and you take pictures and upload it, or you use the documents that I attached to the classroom tab. Do you guys have any questions about anything at all? The new schedule? Okay, because we went over the new schedule that's on Google Classroom. Any of the work, the review? Any questions at all? If you do end up remembering a question, you can always email me or ask a comment in the classroom according to whatever assignment it is. Okay. All right. Thank you for answering me. I appreciate it. Then you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you're doing well. If you have any concerns or need help with anything, please let one of us know. All right. And I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow I see you first thing in the morning, actually. So please do not stay up late if you can't get up in the morning when you stay up late. All right. I need you guys ready to go by 9 a.m. Let everybody know, message them, because class is just not class if they're not hearing. Okay. All right. All right. Be good and be safe.